Good day, welcome to another edition of Ragas. Carl, SARU's Elite Player Development Program. It's a program that's been running for 5 years, we've been told. There's lots of questions about this program. And let's start at the beginning. We discussed SA schools and the controversy surrounding the announcement of the squad this year. But let's start with the reason for the SA schools teams.
Well, to me, it must be the team of the Craven Week. For SARU, it is more a team of the year or of the 5 years of development in the EPD squad.
Because as I explained, the EPD squad runs over 5 years, starts at under 15, and then under 15, 16, together with then under 17, 18, then under 19, 20.
Yeah.
Those are the three phases to ultimately develop, identify elite talent at under 15 and hopefully develop them through up until junior Springboks, basically.
Yeah, under 20 level, yeah.
But that being said, there are still players that manage to be selected for SA schools, as an example, without ever featuring anywhere in this EPD squad.
Well, that we wouldn't know, because the EPD squad is also fairly kept away from your normal rugby supporters and everything, so you will know who the EPD, or the let's call them the children in the EPD squad will know who the EPD players are, and those outside will not.
Because how are you selected for the EPD program?
Well, according to SARU, it is the unions, because every union is supposed to have an EPD program currently. I know the Bulls have, the Sharks have. There is one or two provinces that I doubt that they do have. If they do have an EPD program, it's a well-kept secret. So they rely on the provincial coaches and staff. I think they mentioned 350 people that's involved in identifying talented boys. And we must remember the EPD program is to identify and develop boys that could one day become a Springbok.
And so by looking at that, the selection criteria for the SA schools teams of this year, did it include, it was firstly outside of the EP, firstly outside of Craven Week?
90%, according to me, 100% of that team was selected before the Craven Week, because we had boys at the Craven Week that was genuinely brilliant. And yeah, they didn't feature.
At all. So then what's the purpose of the Craven Week? But, you know.
Well, the Craven Week is a celebration of schoolboy rugby. I think at the end of the day, it's still that place to play with, and yeah, according to me that. But I've got a problem with this EPD program. It's very nice and it's set out properly, and Herman and all these guys, Nico and everybody involved there is really thorough in what they do. If you speak to these guys, they know the kids of 100%, the kids that they've identified. My problem is, Francois, what message does it send to a kid that's not part of the EPD program?
Because as I was listening to the video clip, not the video clip, the podcast, the right word, I was thinking the same thing, because and remember we alluded to it as well, kids that were, boys that are playing, you know, they're not involved in the EPD, so what are they playing for, except for their own pride, and with the hope of being noticed. You know,
if you're not noticed by under 18 level, the chance that you'll be noticed later on is zero. I mean, that the selection of the SA schools side showed 100%. So it's a brilliant system. But unfortunately, they claim there's 350 people involved in selecting the kids and picking them and putting them through the paces and everything, first at a provincial level, then a national level and all that. But my problem is, it is people selecting these kids. And Herman also mentioned they've got guidelines for every position. So it just doesn't make sense. It's a good system. It's a lovely system. It's brilliant that SARU is doing it that way. But I've got a feeling that we are excluding talented boys that would have done a lot better have they also been identified.
Yeah.
And the exclusion of those boys could be because they don't meet the criteria as set out by, let's call it the Blue Book of SARU. I'm trying to get hold of that Blue Book that stipulates what a prop, I presume, must bench press and. So that's my first problem. South Africa has shown in recent years that the smaller players are getting into the system and everything. How often do they change the criteria? So the system is cool. It's cool that there's a system. But unfortunately, the selection is based on personal preferences by the selectors, by the the coaching staff and everything of all the unions. And then you've got the problem. I'm from Office. So I won't select the guy from Garsfontein that I don't like. Not saying that Garsfontein and Office is doing that, but
By example.
But you understand. So buyers will also exclude a lot of boys.
Yeah, because selection starts at the provincial level.
Yeah.
The EPD program is informed by selectors and what they think are good kids at that level.
And I mean, we've got two brilliant examples. We've got a backline player that's playing in one of the top 10 schools in South Africa. He's only 17 years old, and he's not part of the EPD program.
We should have actually been.
Well, he should have been. According to me, the kid is brilliant.
Yeah.
But that's my opinion, and obviously the selectors and the guys that's nominating the kids to the EPD program does not think like that.
So the problem is there are still school players falling through the cracks.
There's definitely players are falling through the cracks. We've got a forward that's in the top 3 schools in South Africa.
Plays in both positions.
He plays in 2 positions, and he's not part of the EPD group.
Yeah.
He's got his parents is top sportsman or was top sportsman and everything. So how does that happen?
And how do you solve it? That's the conundrum.
I think that's where you must weigh up the advantages of the EPD system and the disadvantages of the EPD system. Luckily, the unions select or contract their own players according to what they see. But obviously these guys are talking to Nico is talking to Herman and everything, and those kids are excluded. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That was why the Cravenwick school side, there was such a controversy surrounding the selection of that. Because the selectors walked around and said, but if he's good enough, he will be selected. The selectors said he is good enough, he's one of the best 2 in a certain position. And then he does not get selected for either the SA school side or the SA school side. And the only conclusion you can get is because he's not part of the EPD system.
Yeah, so one gets the initial feeling of exclusivity, and that is very dangerous.
Yeah, if you're not part of the EPD system, and what can you do? There's absolutely nothing you can do. I can phone Nico, I can phone Herman because we know them. But what can a normal parent do?
That has no context.
That has no context.
Or access.
He's in a school that's... he's in a school that doesn't form part of the clique of the provinces, certain provinces, selectors and all of that. And the message is clear. If you're not part of the EPD system, the chance that you'll be selected for SA schools is very slim. The chance that you will play for the SA under 20 boys is extremely slim.
Yeah.
But luckily that's where it ends, at under 20.
Okay.
So that's it. That's how the EPD system works. It's a good system. It does work. It does bring talent through and everything. But
it's still not yet perfect.
Is that the answer? I don't think so.
Anyway. Cheers. Have a good one.
Cheers.